Good morning. Good morning. This is Queenie Brown. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am super excited to have you. Today, we are continuing our reading of the self love lessons. And I am excited because we are going a little bit deeper today into lesson number one. And lesson number one, before we get started, be sure to let me know that you're here by clicking or putting hashtag present in the comments. If you're watching the replay, put hashtag replay. And if you are a girl mom, hashtag girl mom. And if you're a fella, hashtag fella. So I know you're here. We are reading the self love lessons, and each day we are reading for about 15 minutes. And I was instructed by the Holy Spirit in the early part of December to begin rereading my book, The Self Love Lessons. And so this it is the 7 lessons every woman must learn about herself and the power of womanhood. And so we've been reading this book aloud every day for 15 minutes, just to give you a quick nugget, and then having a little feedback in my Mother Love community afterwards. We can get a little bit more meat off the bone. So, up to now, we have been reading about the 7 love language, or not, sorry, the 5 love languages. And we started yesterday with love language number 1, which is words of affirmation. And so we talked a little bit about words of affirmation. And basically, it's when you're communicating love through affirmation or praise. It's when you notice someone and you give them a compliment, you're giving them a word of affirmation. And that's just one of the ways that many of us tend to communicate love. But what happens when you decide to withhold that type of love? Many of us have been in situations, and myself included, where people have said, I'm sure you get compliments all the time, so I'm not going to give you a compliment, or I'm not going to acknowledge the things that you're doing to make yourself better or smarter or stronger or whatever. And when you withhold that kind of love, it is incredibly hurtful, especially to someone who that is their love language. It literally feels like a wound. And so we want to become more sensitive to the fact that we are dealing in love, and you don't want to give that, because you're going to get what you give, right? So we're going to continue today with the second love language, and that is on page number 90. We're starting on acts of service. And so let's begin. Okay, throwing a party, making a fuss, running errands, cooking and serving dinner, cleaning up the kitchen, thinking of and doing the things that you promised to do are all ways of serving others. Stepping in and doing the things that require thought, planning, time, energy, and doing them with a positive attitude can surely communicate love. As a married woman, and keep in mind, I wrote this and published it in 2011. So kind of going through a divorce right now, but I digress. I'm sure those of you who are married will agree that there's nothing sexier than a man who can and will help you get it all done. That's the truth. I know for me, I love it when my ex husband takes it upon himself to help me make it happen, whatever it may be. I am always there to help him do the same. Whether it's helping with grocery shopping or taking care of errands, having someone to jump in there and support you surely communicates not only love, but compassion. This means the world to me, and I'm sure you agree. Holding back or refusing to give acts of service. When people in your world refuse to give this type of love, it can feel like you're being taken for granted or unappreciated. It can feel as though your time, efforts, and attention to detail are worth nothing. You feel invalidated, as if your efforts and the care you demonstrate towards others is null and void. So, as you consider this love language, think about whether this is your language of choice when you give love to others. Also, think about whether you prefer to receive love via acts of service. The third love language, physical touch. This language communicates love by physical touch, brushing of your hair, giving a hug, holding hands, or a foot massage. These are all methods by which love is communicated via physical touch. This includes sexual intercourse. However, it should not be misunderstood to mean that sexual intercourse is the only method by which love can be communicated physically. My ex husband and I have a habit of being very touchy feely. Even when we're sitting on 2 separate couches in our family room, one of us will inevitably stretch out our hand for the other, and we will watch TV and just play with each other's fingers. Or when we walk past one another, we stroke each other's arms. Yeah, I know how that sounds, but it's what we do. It's just one of the ways that we communicate our love for one another. Physical touch not only feels good, but there are many healing benefits. Physical touch in the form of massage is a tool of healing that most women have never allowed themselves to experience. Put massage in the comments if you've had a massage. I can say every woman should know the bliss, relaxation, and stress release of a full body, deep tissue massage. Fibromyalgia would be absolutely unbearable had I never discovered massage therapy. There were times when I was prescribed three massages, excuse me, I was prescribed three massages each week for months at a time. What an awesome prescription, right? Needless to say, I've had more massages than I can count. I'm not only an avid fan, but my husband and I have invested in our own massage table at home so we can keep the party going. And they're not that expensive, by the way. Treat yourself. Holding back or refusing to give physical touch. Do you remember when crack cocaine took hold of the inner city communities? I definitely do. There was a problem that came out of that issue that resulted in an interesting solution. The drug addiction placed drug addiction placed a demand on mothers of newborn babies. Many mothers abandoned their drug addicted children after birth, unfortunately. At the time, there was a big push to find people to just hold and love on those babies whose mothers were addicted to the drugs. It was proven that those babies who were held and nurtured healed much faster than those who went without physical touch. There truly is healing power in physical touch. Decide today to not withhold the gift of physical touch from yourself. As you consider this love language, think about whether this is your language of choice when you give love to others. Also, think about whether you prefer to receive love via physical touch. Love language number 4. This language is gifts. This language of love states that love is communicated through the giving or receiving of gifts. This could include anything from small, thoughtful, inexpensive gifts to large, extravagant, and expensive gifts. Symbols like cards or flowers have definite value in communicating love. Even the ceremony of marriage includes the exchange of rings as an outward expression of inward devotion and commitment. As a child, Christmas was the absolute best day of the year for me. I remember as we would count down the days, the room with the Christmas tree would fill up with gifts completely. My mom has 4 girls. At the time, my 2 older sisters and their kids would come home and bring all their gifts as well, which made the tree even more ridiculous. On Christmas morning, there were so many gifts that we couldn't even get close to the tree. I must admit, my parents definitely overdid it. I would never admit it then, but looking back, boy, that was a lot. Those were great times. Mom taught us very early to give one another gifts, so each of us would buy gifts for everyone in the family. The best part for me wasn't just opening the gifts for myself, but it was seeing my sisters' and parents' reactions to the gifts that I had given them. That's a beautiful thing about giving gifts. There's a blessing in it, even for the gift giver. Holding back or refusing to give gifts. Refusing to celebrate someone else communicates a lack of value, appreciation, or worth. People whose primary language is a giving of gifts feels rejected. They feel rejected when they are not celebrated. Gifts don't have to be costly. Even a card or a flower shows that you were in their thoughts. As you consider this love language, think about whether this is your language of choice when you choose to give love to others. Also, think about whether you prefer to receive love via the giving of gifts. The love language number 5 is quality time. The language of quality time includes listening, talking, and giving your full attention to the other person. This is the one language of love that requires being and not doing. It often involves a directed effort to take interest in another person. The important thing is not the activity, but it's the time spent giving a part of yourself to the other person in the relationship. I'm originally from Los Angeles, and most of my immediate family still lives there, and now I'm back. When I have an opportunity to go home, it means the world to me just to be in the same space with my family. We don't have to do anything. Actually, I prefer it if I could just hang out with my mom in our pajamas all day and reminisce, laugh, talk, and ask questions about her life lessons. It's the same with my dad, although he's passed on now. I absolutely love just sitting with him and picking his brain about his childhood and his experiences with my aunts, uncles, and cousins. Those times are precious to me. Spending time with my sister Robin and her kids simply makes my day. I just love sitting on the floor, quizzing them about all that they've learned. The kids and I like playing with the camera, just taking pictures of one another. And thinking about it just makes me smile. This is quality time, and those are the memories that I will always hold dear to my heart. It doesn't cost anything to listen, to share, and probe into the heart and mind of someone you love. It really does show them how much you care. Holding back or refusing to give quality time. Examples of this would be never slowing down to listen, never having an interest in intimately connecting, or neglecting to share yourself or your thoughts. This makes a person feel invalidated and closed out of your life. Relationships are about relating. An exchange of thoughts, ideas, dreams, fears, lessons, and life stories is a part of the human connection that makes our lives far richer than they are without it. When you refuse to share yourself or refuse to take an interest in someone else, you're essentially communicating that they are worthless and useless to you in your world. Is that the message you intend to communicate? Probably not. Let today be the day you make the change towards giving more of yourself, even if it's just taking an interest in the thoughts or ideas of someone other than yourself. As you consider this love language, think about whether it is your language of choice when you give love to others. Also, think about whether you prefer to receive love via spending quality time. Rank. What are my love languages? So, this is for you. On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being most important, rank your love languages. Be honest. It's just you and me. Keep in mind, they all have the same weight and value. One is not better than the other. After all, even God communicates using all 5 of the languages of love. So don't judge yourself on this at all. Just go with your gut and rank them 1 to 5. Hint, again, the way you tend to give love most often is a clue to which are your primary and secondary love languages. So here they are: words of affirmation, acts of service, physical touch, giving of gifts, and quality time. For a more accurate examination of your love languages, you can go to the number 5, then lovelanguages.com, and take the official 5 love languages assessment offered by the author Gary Chapman. Giving love using the love languages. Remember, the greatest command is to love and to allow love to flow from you in 3 directions. Direction number 1, love towards God. Direction number 2, love towards yourself. Direction number 3, love towards others in the same manner that you are loving yourself. That was from Matthew 22:36-40, which we talked about yesterday. So let's look at each of the love languages as they relate to this command. In your relationship with God, with yourself, and with others, here are some examples of how you can allow love to flow from you. The love language of words of affirmation. In your relationship with God, you can allow praise, worship, and adoration to flow from you towards God. In your relationship with yourself, you can allow yourself to speak kindly to and about yourself, celebrating your wins and your successes. In your relationship with others, you can allow yourself to compliment, encourage, and celebrate the wins and successes of others. In the love language of physical touch, your relationship with God is laying on of hands in healing. God asked us to lay our hands on others as a form of healing. That's powerful. And physical touch is how he does that. So when we allow ourselves to be used to touch someone else, it communicates healing and also love. In your relationship with yourself, getting a massage, giving yourself a massage, and in rubbing your own feet, or as you're massaging your body, when you rub lotion on your body, give yourself love. That is physical touch. Take your time, be intentional about loving on you. And then in your relationship with others, non sexual touch, holding hands, hugs, those are all ways that you can give physical touch. In acts of service, your relationship with God is sharing the good news, sharing that we don't have to be broke, we don't have to be sick, we don't have to be angry, all the things that we've been operating in on a day-to-day basis. Serving others shows them love from God, and God loves that. In your relationship with yourself, an act of service is just taking good care of you, making sure you get your basic needs met, get your rest, make sure you give yourself the water that you need. That's an act of service. Make sure you're giving yourself the movement that's required for your body to stay limber. Now, I'm not preaching from a pulpit. Trust and believe I need these lessons too. So don't ever think that I'm speaking down in any way. All this is for me. You just get to be on the journey with me. All right. So, an act of service when relating to others is doing favors or being there when someone needs you. In the love language of gifts, your relationship with God is giving financial and material support to the kingdom of God. That's an act. That's a service of giving of gifts that is required for the kingdom, right? Relate in your relationship with yourself, giving yourself small tokens of appreciation, honoring yourself for meeting your goals or for keeping your word, giving yourself little things that will just make you feel good about yourself, and then maybe even honoring yourself with a gift that you work hard for. Let that be a way of celebrating your accomplishments, right? In your relationship with others, sending cards or giving of all types of gifts that communicates love. And then in the love language of quality time in your relationship with God, time in developing your relationship with Him. That means you'll learn, and you'll learn more about this as we progress. We'll talk more about that. In your relationship with yourself includes journaling and processing your thoughts and emotions on a regular basis. In your relationship with others, quality time is listening, being there, giving undivided attention, right? So it's interesting that as I'm writing this, I found it much easier to come up with things not to do in your relationships with yourself. So since it came up, I've included it as well. So in the love language of words of affirmation, what not to do in your relationship with you is self-deprecating humor. It's not funny to put yourself down, making you the butt of the joke, pointing out your own flaws, ridiculing yourself on a consistent basis. That is the opposite of loving you. Physical touch. Ignoring your needs for physical touch and refusing to allow yourself to be touched because of shame, fear of judgment, or any other excuse, that's not loving you. That's not loving you. In the love language of acts of service, neglecting your own needs consistently, refusing to take care of you, refusing to give you what you need. No, I'm not going to give you enough sleep. No, I'm not going to give you the water you need. No, I'm not going to give you the nutrients, the vitamins, the exercise. No, I'm going to neglect your every basic need. That's not loving you, right? Do the opposite. In the language of gifts, neglecting to celebrate yourself and your successes, that's not loving you, right? And then in the love language of quality time, refusing to find value in spending time alone, refusing to nurture a healthy, intimate, and loving relationship with yourself and with God within you, that is not loving you. So the lesson here is nobody can love you like you. Depletion is only something that you and God within you can overcome. You can expect not you can't expect nor require these things to be done by anyone but you. So begin today and just do it. All right, all right. So that is the conclusion of today's lesson. Tomorrow we are going to talk about your love account. Ooh, I can't wait to get into that one. So thank you so much for hanging in there with me today. Make sure you put a hashtag finish to let me know you completed the lesson today. Be sure to share this with your friends. Tell them to go to www.queeniebrown.com and download the self-love lessons for themselves. It's free. It's a gift. You can give them the gift of love and change their life at the same time. All right. So now we're going to retreat to the Mother Love community. If you are a woman, I invite you to join me. And if you're a woman and you're having challenges in your relationship with your mom, I am doing some market research and I want to learn more about your challenges. And as a result of it, I want to give you some resources and a gift so that it'll support you in your relationship with your mom. All right. So please do include hashtag research in the comment or hashtag mom, and I'll reach out. All right. God bless. Have a blessed day. And I'll see you in the Mother Love community. Take good care. Talk soon. Bye bye.